Hey, what's up, everybody? I appreciate y'all taking time to sit here and listen to me talk about the Sixers. This is really going to be a quick one. This is going to be about James Harden and the several reasons why the Sixers are going to have to sign James Harden. I was listening to a podcast with Keith Pompey, the Sixers beat reporter, and he was mentioning that the Sixers are basically stuck. The Sixers don't have any draft picks. They pretty much have to go and get undrafted free agents, and hopefully they can sit there and develop them. And so James Harden knows this. Also, the Sixers can trade Tobias Harris's contract. The problem with that, though, a team may ask for something besides Tobias Harris. They may ask for a draft pick, and the Sixers really don't have any draft picks. The Sixers won't be able to trade a draft pick until 2029. We'll be able to trade a draft pick until 2029. So the Sixers are stuck. Yeah, they're forfeited. Their second round was forfeited because of the P.J. Tucker situation, and they traded their number one draft pick to Utah. So when you put that in the equation, this really going to fall on how good Morey is in terms of picking talent and making sure he get talent that goes with this team, because you can't draft anybody. Also, you don't have any guards. You don't have any point guards on this team. You have a bunch of combo guards. Let's say you keep Shake Milton. Shake Milton is not a traditional point guard. Tyrese Maxey is not a traditional point guard. They're combo guards. We really haven't had a traditional point guard. You have to go back to Drew Holiday. Ben Simmons is not a traditional point guard, and Ben Simmons can't run a half-court offense. And if you sit and think about it, when James Harden wasn't here, the Sixers players had some serious issues about passing the ball in the post. It used to blow my mind, like, yo, y'all are professionals. How y'all not able to pass the ball in the post? James Harden has all the leverage. Morey's on his side. Doc Rivers was fired because of James Harden. That's what's going around. So now you have a situation where Joel Embiid is really upset that Doc was fired. The Sixers are going to have to give James Harden his 4-year, $50 million, because he can go to Houston. James Harden is not the person that he was. Houston James Harden is never coming back. And what Keith Pompey was saying that James Harden thinks he's still that player, because when he scored 45 points, he scored 45 points when Joel wasn't hit on the court. So this could be a situation where this could be a power struggle, where now are you going to put the team in James Harden's image? When you sit and think about it, Joe only had the team in his image for 2 years. Most of the time was in Ben Simmons' image, and we saw how that travesty went. This is a dicey situation. Two things can happen with this. You can have a situation where Harden leaves. The Sixers have a disgruntled Joel. You don't have any draft picks. You could be in a situation where if you have to sit there and question, do we want to trade Joel Embiid? And Harden knows all of this. And Harden sat there and said he wants to play in his image. I don't know what image that is. Because the guy I sat there and saw in the playoffs, yeah, you scored 45 points. But when it came down to Game 7, you was nowhere to be found. The highs were highs and the lows were lows. And when you were and James Harden was doing this at the height of his powers. He had games like this when he was at his physical peak and stuff like that, where he just fell apart or committed a lot of turnovers. In Game 7, he totally disappeared. And now you have a James Harden that really can't draw fouls, that don't have some type of burst. He started incorporating the mid-range game. It still wasn't enough. He still didn't shoot for a good percentage. He wasn't efficient at all. But with everything that's going on, the leverage is in his court. He pretty much have the Sixers where he wants them. And Daryl Morey wants him. And that's Daryl Morey's blind spot. When you sit back and think who the Sixers could have had, instead of James Harden, Daryl Morey is fixated on James Harden. And this right here can be the downfall of Daryl Morey if this doesn't go well. Because Daryl Morey's fixation with James Harden pretty much negated a lot of trades that could have been done. You could have got Halliburton. You could have got McConnell. You could have got Brogdon or LeVert. You could have shored up some things. You could have got a big wing. There's so many things that could have been done, and he weren't. And I'm not saying that the James Harden trade wasn't a good trade. You did what you did with the situation that you had. But with all this said, the Sixers has no choice but to sign James Harden. They have no choice. If they don't, fans are going to revolt. I mean, I hear fans sitting there saying, don't sign him. Yeah, the same fans that will say don't sign him will be the same fans bitching and crying if the Sixers are losing, talking about, we should have signed James Harden, especially if James Harden is sitting there playing good. Sixers have no choice but to sign James Harden. And if you don't sign James Harden, then you might as well get ready to blow it up. Because Joel may sit there and say, I'm out. It's either going to be I'm out, or you're probably going to have to have a question where you're going to have to talk to Joel, and it's like, Joel, we may have to change the offense where it runs through Maxey, and you're just you're number 2. So we'll see how this goes. It doesn't look good from the front officer's perspective. If you like what you're hearing, subscribe. I'd like to hear from y'all. Talk to y'all later.